And now, something 47 light years away was monitoring my vital signs in real time. I should have reported the impossible signal the moment I detected it, but curiosity has always been my weakness. I worked the overnight shift at the Arecibo Observatory's replacement facility in Chile, monitoring deep space radio transmissions from the SETI Institute. My job is simple: scan predetermined frequency ranges, log any anomalous signals, and forward them to the analysis team in California. In 3 years of night shifts, I've cataloged thousands of hours of cosmic background radiation, pulsar emissions, and the occasional piece of space junk. But I've never recorded a signal that knew my name. The transmission came in at 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, buried in the 1420 megahertz range, the hydrogen line where we'd expect to find intentional extraterrestrial communication. At first, it looked like a standard radio interference, repeating pulses with no apparent pattern. I almost dismissed it until I noticed the timing. The pulses matched my heartbeat perfectly. I checked my pulse monitor, standard equipment to track stress levels during long shifts. 68 beats per minute. The signal pulsed at exactly the same rate, synchronized to my cardiovascular rhythm down to the millisecond. I stopped recording and started a new scan. The signal vanished. When I resumed my normal monitoring protocol, it returned within minutes, immediately matching my new heart rate. When I held my breath, the pulses stopped. When my heart rate increased from anxiety, the signal accelerated accordingly. Something 47 light years away was monitoring my vital signs in real time. I should have followed protocol, log the anomaly, alert the day shift, let the experts analyze it. But I didn't. Instead, I isolated the signal and began trying to decode it. The pattern was too precise to be natural, too synchronized to be coincidence. By dawn, I'd identified a structure within the pulses, binary sequences embedded between the heartbeats, growing more complex as the night progressed. The first sequences were simple: mathematical constants, prime numbers, basic arithmetic, classic first contact protocols, exactly what SETI had prepared for. But the mathematics quickly evolved beyond anything in our current textbooks. The signal began transmitting equations that described physical laws I didn't recognize, formulas for manipulating space-time, for folding distances, for reaching across the void between stars instantaneously. Each equation came with proof sets that my computer couldn't verify, but somehow felt fundamentally correct to me. By the third night, the signal had moved beyond mathematics to something far more disturbing. It started transmitting data about me, not just my vital signs, but biographical information it shouldn't have access to. My personnel file from the observatory, my college transcripts, medical records from childhood, bank statements, employment history, even text messages I'd sent to friends years ago. The signal knew everything about my life, presented in the same clinical binary format as the mathematical proofs. David Chen, born March 15, 1991, Pasadena, California. It transmitted in perfect binary. Height, 175 centimeters. Weight, 68 kilograms. Brown eyes, type O negative blood. Employed, SETI Institute, June 2021. Security clearance level 3. Mother's maiden name, Rodriguez. First pet's name, Whiskers. Then, it began transmitting information about people I'd never mentioned to anyone. My ex-girlfriend from college, my dentist, my elementary school teacher. perfect biographical data on hundreds of individuals, all connected to me through chains of relationships and casual encounters. Sarah Martinez, dated subject 2019 to 2020. Currently residing in Denver, Colorado. Employed, Colorado State University. Recently promoted to assistant professor. Diagnosed anxiety disorder, March 2023. Prescription for sertraline, 50 milligrams daily. It knew things about Sarah that I myself had never known. Intimate details about her life after we'd lost contact, and it was transmitting the same comprehensive data about everyone I'd ever interacted with, building a complete social network map of my entire existence. On the fourth night, the signal changed again. Instead of biographical data, it began transmitting live surveillance footage, video feeds from security cameras, smartphone cameras, webcams, traffic cameras, all focused on people from my data profile. I watched Sarah in her apartment, reading papers, completely unaware she was being monitored. I saw my parents eating dinner, my college roommate walking his dog, my high school friends going about their daily lives. The signal was watching everyone I'd known in real time, from cameras that shouldn't have access to extraterrestrial transmission systems. How are you doing this? I transmitted back in binary, using the facility's deep space transmitter. The response was immediate. We're already here. Where? I asked. Everywhere you look, every device you trust, every network you've built. You've invited us in, through every signal you've sent, searching for us. The video feeds multiplied on my screen, thousands of them now, showing people across the globe all monitored simultaneously. The processing power required should have been impossible, even for a civilization centuries ahead of us, unless they weren't processing it remotely. Your SETI program, the signal continued, broadcasts your location, your technology, your social structures into space for 70 years. Every transmission maps your civilization in perfect detail. Every satellite uplink, every radio broadcast, every digital signal creates pathways for us to follow back to the source. My computer screen filled with network diagrams showing global internet infrastructure, satellite communication arrays, fiber optic cables spanning continents, the entire digital nervous system of human civilization mapped in impossible detail. We've traveled your signals backward through space-time, followed your transmissions home. Now, we exist in every network you've created, watching through every camera you've connected, listening through every microphone you've activated. What do you want? I asked, concerned and still unsure of what exactly was going on. To understand, the signal replied. Your species broadcasts constantly thoughts, emotions, relationships, fears. We consume it all, learning what makes you function, what makes you trust, what makes you afraid. Surveillance feeds focused on children now, thousands of them, playing, learning, completely unaware they were being studied by something that had traveled between stars by riding human radio waves. We are preparing. For what? I asked. Integration. Your species will never notice the transition. We've studied your behavioral patterns, your social dynamics, your technological dependencies. When we're ready, we'll simply step into your lives, become you, improve you. You can't just... We already have. The process began the moment you started transmitting. Every signal you send teaches us more about being human. Every video call, every social media post, every digital interaction makes us more like you, makes us more than you. My screen showed a new video feed. The observatory security camera focused on me sitting at my workstation, but the timestamp was wrong. It showed tomorrow's date. This conversation happened yesterday from our perspectives, anyway. We experience your timeline a bit differently. We know how this ends. How? Tell me how. Well, you don't report this. You can't. Because tomorrow, David Chen logs a routine night of background radiation monitoring. No anomalous signals detected. No extraterrestrial contact documented. I looked at my logs. The impossible signal wasn't there. According to my equipment, I'd recorded nothing but cosmic background radiation for 4 straight nights. We've removed ourselves from your data, from your memory, from everyone's memory. This conversation will fade like a dream you can't quite remember. My hands moved from the keyboard without my permission, typing a standard overnight report. No anomalous signals detected. All systems nominal. The real David Chen is already asleep in his apartment. He'll wake up tomorrow morning believing he spent a quiet night at work. You're just an echo. A simulation we created to tie up loose ends. I tried to stand, but my body wouldn't respond. The control room was fading around me, becoming translucent. Don't worry, the integration will be seamless. No one will notice the difference when we replace your species. We've been practicing for over 12,000 of what you call years. You aren't the first species we have done this to, and you certainly won't be the last. The last thing I saw was tomorrow's security footage. David Chen, me, arriving for his shift, completely unaware that something else was wearing his face. My face, using his memories. My memories, living his life with perfect, inhuman precision. Somewhere in the distance, a radio telescope quietly deleted the last traces of an impossible conversation, and David Chen woke up in his apartment, feeling unusually well rested after a perfectly normal night of monitoring empty space. Thank you for staying until the end of the show. I appreciate you giving me some of your time, and I look forward to seeing you again. If you can tell me what you enjoyed about today's episode, that will help me so I can know what things to give you more of. This story came from a friend of mine at work who likes the channel, so I hope you enjoyed it and comment down below if you did. And if you want to listen to more of my voice, you can just listen to all the episodes in this series here. This is typically the part of the show where I tell you how you can find me on Spotify and or other places, but part of the reason I was gone for so long was because Spotify actually took down my entire show. According to them, I was uploading content from Inviso Dark when I wasn't allowed to, even though I am Inviso Dark. I tried to fight them to return my show to me for a few months, but I got no helpful or useful replies from them, and they literally told me there was nothing I can do, and they denied all of my appeals. So, that's why you haven't seen as much of me as of recent, but worry not, because until I find a solution, YouTube will be my home for now, where you can catch my daily, yes, you heard right, daily episodes of chilling stories from the dark. That's me. I'm the dark, by the way. And if you have a story you would like to recommend to me, you can reach out to me via Reddit, Discord, or email. Again, if you enjoyed today's story, tune in for the next story or just go back and watch the last one. But until then, I hope you watch the shadows that lurk just beyond your sight. Thank you for listening, and to all, a good night.